Hi, this is Louis. I'm from investinginphilippines.com, and again, this is my blog regarding taxes. Okay, for the past 3 episodes, I've been talking about the taxes, kinds of taxes, withholding taxes, and now I think I have to touch base on the very basic, and I think one of the most asked question in my blog is regarding TIN, TIN, that's for Taxpayer Identification Number. Now, basically when you need, kung kailangan mong magbayad ng tax, you need a number, like any other number, and the Bureau of Internal Revenue use the TIN, or the Tax Identification Number, which once you applied for, will be your number for the rest of your life. So, if you heard sa TV, sa balita, one of the issues is some actors having multiple TINs to avoid to divide income to different TINs so that mas lower siya. So, naging issue yun. Some others don't have tax identification number, and that's why they're not paying their taxes and the likes. But again, the most people that will be affected by this is usually the employed persons like you and me, because under the law and under the system, whenever we receive our salary, we already have a withholding tax. Again, as I explained, that is the way of the government advances collecting taxes, since income taxes are rounded up or computed sa isang taon, saka kung merong, after computing it, kung meron pa tayong tax due, saka natin babayaran yun, parang kulang, or kung may sobra. Fortunately sa Pilipinas, bihira ka makakita ng tax refund, you issue a tax credit. So again, you need TIN to transact with the BIR, and recently it's been one of the most asked question is banks and other government institutions require you to have your TIN pag nagtatransact ka. Why? Because under the law, every time you need to pay taxes, you must have a TIN. That's why when you go to bank, you pay withholding taxes on interest. When you register for your car, you pay some forms of taxes, and any other else there are taxes. So that's why you need this number. Once you get a job, may trabaho ka or merong work or merong pinagkakakitaan na business. Again, who will get a TIN, of course, sabi ko nga, is yung nagbabayad ng tax na nagtransact sa government. So it could be a natural person, that's you and me, or a juridical person. Ibig sabihin ng juridical is created by law. So corporations, partnership, trust, hindi yung isang trust. Trust is something mahirap explain mo. Haba. Estates, pag ang isang tao namatay, nagiging automatic na yung area niya is become an estate. So, those things need to file or register and get a TIN to be able to transact with the government. So, what form in BIR do you use? So, they are categorized into 4, I guess. There are 4 forms, and that's a category. It's the 19 series, so 1901, 1902, 1903, and 1904. Form 1901 is for mixed income and self-employed people. So this will include sole proprietorship, business owners, those people who are employed at the same time have sideline businesses na registered, and those are the people. Then second is 1902, which is usually the form to file employees earning purely compensation income. So tayo yun, mga employee, when you remember when your first job, or yun yung isa sa mga form na pinafill up sa'yo. Again, for TIN, how to get it, first, of course, kung sa 1901, if wala ka bang issued TIN, you get that. you fill 1901 when you register in a business, or you have a sideline, or you have a mixed income. So you will indicate there in the form. When it's your first job, usually it's the company who process the 1902, and based on the comments, sometimes some companies and HR personnel don't do it. They ask their employees to file for the TIN themselves, so that's quite odd kasi dapat yung first employer ng isang empleyado, siya yung magpa-process. So they give you the form, you fill it up, then they included it in their applications, and you get your TIN. Most of the issues with the employees that ask in the blog is that hindi nila alam kung na-issuean ba sila ng TIN, dahil it's either hindi sila binigyan ng form when it's a first job, or hindi tinanong kung ito ba yung first job nila or second job, and sometimes they completely ignore it, and eventually they either nag-apply sila sa ibang kampanya, tapos sinabi nila na wala silang pinilapan na ganito, only to find out na issue na pala sila ng TIN sa dati nila, sa unang employer. And thus, ang nangyayari is they have to go to the BIR, the RDO, then declare so many things, affidavit changes, and they eventually pa-cancel yung new TIN or TIN, and so many changes. Again, that's for employee, and I'll try to discuss more on length of this because I know ito yung naapektuhan yung maraming tao. So, for employees, you apply for your TIN under Form 1902, and again, you only get your TIN once. So, kung na-employee ka na, make sure that you have your TIN from your first employer. Kung meron kang copy ng 1902, keep mo yun, the better. Or if it's payslip, naka-reflect usually yung TIN mo, keep that. That's your proof na meron ka nang TIN na nauna. Second will be 1903, which is for corporations and partnership. Again, these are juridical entities. So, kahit juridical entities, ibig sabihin, separate sila sa nagmamayari ng mga yan. They are created by law. So, based on the law, they have to apply for their own TIN. So, kung pansin nyo, yung corporation nyo, yung kumpanya nyo is may sariling TIN, partnership may sariling TIN. And lastly is 1904 is those applying for one-time transaction with the government. And this is usually the very famous EO 98. Ito yung mga cases na kung saan hindi naman employed yung isang tao, hindi naman siya, but they have to transact with the government. They have to pay taxes. Usually is nangyayari ito pag one-time payment is pag may biglang magmamana ng property. So, the people that will have to pay taxes have to file and get a TIN para mamana kahit. So, wala silang trabaho ever. So, usually mga bata, anak, younger, so walang trabaho. So, they need the TIN to able to transact and finish the transfer properties. And having a TIN is a required. So, we're gonna fall under 1902. So, in my blog, usually nag-a-assist mga students na nag-a-apply ng bank account for their very first time. So, they need TIN. So, I tell them to apply TIN under EO 98, which is one-time taxpayer. Again, it's a very short introduction for TIN. TIN, Taxpayer's Identification Number. So, I will try to make another blog to expand, especially Form 1902 for those new employees who will have their first employer. So, again, ang unang employer usually nagpo-process. If not, you have to file it on your own, and make sure that you have that documentation when you transfer. And again, I will try to discuss this on a separate blog. Again, this is Louis from investingphilippines.com. Keep investing, be happy, live life. God bless. Thank you.